Hello and welcome to the iRacing Esports Network and the DynamiXX Simracersworld GT Series presented by Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick, and alongside me for this evening's racing is Marco Barboneer, and we are here at a very familiar circuit at this time of the year. It is Sebring. Marco, we're a few days away from the 12 hours where you'll be, of course, defending your crown. It's a great preparation for these drivers, and it's a great host for this round 3 of the season.
It is, absolutely. Hello everyone, hello Sam. It's great to be here, and I have a little bit of a time off from concerns of daily life, and I have to tell you, I miss this series so much. So it's great to be here, great to be in Sebring, of course. You said it right, Saturday, time to defend the crown, and let's see what happens, of course. First race with a new tire model for these guys in GT3, and what a track to test it out with lots of bumps, lots of irregularities. It's going to be a tough one for these drivers.
Definitely. I will remind the viewers as well. I won Sebring as well last year as well in the DP third split, I think. And so we are like, it's almost as though we know what we're talking about when it comes to this. We do know the way around this track on the most part, which is not usually said for most of the circuits that we visit. So hopefully we'll be able to give some good insights today. The drivers are currently in practice, so 1 hour 40 of practice. Then we're going to have a 20-minute qualifying session where the drivers can set as many laps as they like. They'll all be on circuit at the same time, and then we'll have a 1 hour race. That's the format for this series. And of course, after a break week, as Marco was saying, a break week, do you think that's going to help defending champion Martin van Liesveld? Marco, he's had an awful start to the season. Remember, this is the guy who won, out of the 11 races he turned up for, he won 10 of them last season. He won 10 out of 12 overall, and he's retired from the first 2 races. He's got a massive catch-up game to play. Do you think this break week is going to help him collect his thoughts and come back stronger, or do you think that rage has just built up inside him over the last fortnight?
This is a very, very good point you're making, Sam, of course, because I think that Martin really needs a fresh start at this point in the season. We know it's early, but the disaster, of course, of the first few rounds, which, has to be said, came after what was a very, very good media day with victory by plenty of time in Okayama. So you know what I mean. Who knows what the Ford will be like with the new tires? By the way, it has been a car that has been neglected by iRacing for quite a bit, and maybe finally they fixed all the nagging issues just in time to put these new boots on this car.
Yeah, potentially. It could really help it out a lot, of course, as Michael was saying earlier on, and just then as well, the new tyre model for these cars. You've given it a go, I imagine, Marco. Unfortunately, I haven't had access to driving these cars yet with the new tyre model, but what I'm hearing is that the patch, I believe, released a couple of days ago, has really increase the tyre wear, and all of a sudden tyre wear, even in an hour-long race like this, could become a big factor. Also, the cars apparently feel more stuck to the tarmac as well. There's a little bit more feel in there as well, but at the same time, I'm saying all of this, we still don't know the characteristics of this new tyre model, so it will be tricky around this place.
It will be very, very tricky, man. I think that drivers are in for a good surprise, or a bad surprise. It depends on the way you put it, because it's right. It was specifically said that for GT cars, which means these cars and of course the GT cars as well, to quote unquote, and I quote, sorry, triple stinting tires will be a thing of the past. Now, of course, end quote. Of course, this is not really, a bit less than a triple stint, but still, it will be much, much more noticeable, I think, come the end of the race. And if you look at the weather, well, you can't, but I can, and it's 26 degrees out there on the track, so these drivers have a bit of luck in this sense because track is not very warm right now. As you see, Steve Clay is going around, Sam. This is going to be an important talking point from now on, and I think the switch to 20-minute qualifying really helped, even though it was not with this in mind. It was more of a happy accident. It will help these guys because now you have to really work for these tires to come into temperature.
Yeah, and this is a pretty cool track temperature, as you were saying, 26 degrees, which is cool for this Sebring circuit. We've had temperatures over 40 degrees quite regularly around this place. It will get warmer as the day goes on. We usually see about a 10-degree increase from the start of the race to the end of the race. Of course, factor in as well the dryers pounding around this track. That will increase it by 2 or 3 degrees as well. So expect it to get probably to over 40 degrees by the end of the race. So you do need to consider that that tyre wear in order to be very competitive. So far, very competitive this season, Marco, has been Ashley Beard. He leads the championship, and by a surprising margin as well, 30 points. No one's got 2 podiums, I believe, so far this season. Beard with a 5th and a 2nd, I believe. Neil Cooper actually lines up in 2nd place in the championship. Then it's Ashton and Nair. Ashton, of course, winning round 2. And Danny Crow's winning round 1. So it's really up in the air at the moment. And I guess the good news for Birnley is that there's not a consistent challenger necessarily for him. But we could very easily see a 3rd new winner of the season today. Fingers crossed that we do.
Well, it seems to be the recurring theme for this season, you know, surprises all around the corner. I mean, again, going back to what happened in Media Day, we all thought, oh yeah, you know, Martin van Loosener, despite changing cars, is still the quickest around, and I still think he is, by the way. But then all of a sudden, reality hit hard for Martin in both the first 2 rounds of the season, and who knows, maybe after 3 seasons, I'd say, of dominance, one from Jeff Van Genechten, of course, and the other 2, at least I'm talking about the full seasons we streamed, 2 by Martin van Loosener, we could have one of those, you know, a 2012 kind of season. By the way, of course, talking about F1 and talking about, you know, as you might have heard, we as the people here in Italy, we are basically stuck at home for a full month. So you can imagine I'm going through all of my F1 DVDs collection.
Oh, lovely.
And of course, being a subscriber to F1 TV, I have plenty of old races to watch. And I have plenty of seasons of Turismo Carretera, which I have to catch up with. And, you know, trying to make the best. And, you know, you could say something else, Sam, of course. You could say, isn't this time to, like, properly get your iRating and up and start driving correctly? Yes, there could be. But, I mean, I had this in mind today. And Italy, the whole of Italy, couldn't connect to any website that was hosted on the Amazon web servers, including iRacing. So yeah, no iRacing for me until very late in the afternoon today.
Wow.
Actually, there was a big risk of me not being able to do this because basically school children are being taught via the interwebs. I don't know how are we so technologically advanced that we can do that in many schools. And most people are now working at home, those that can. And apparently Amazon servers are very popular here in Italy. So, yeah. We were basically... You can imagine the widespread panic that we had on the Italian racing community this morning. And all throughout the afternoon. Because no one could enter iRacing. It was a terrible...
Absolutely.
I mean, it is the biggest of our worries at this point, no?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it doesn't really affect most people from 18 to 35, does it? So I mean, the iRacing, which is, of course, 100% of their markets. I say welcome to everyone over the age of 35, but there's not too many of you out there. If there is, let us know. If there's anyone under 18, let us know as well on the YouTube chat. I would love to find out our demographics, but it is mainly that that demographic. So
Well,
I doubt. I imagine that will probably be top concern for them.
well, Sam, I can already deal you a very big blow, because apparently I just won a pair of free flip-flops from year one.
Oh, come on. You can't even use them. You can't even go to the beach.
I can't not even go to the gym or to the swimming pool, but I know for the summer.
Unbelievable. Once again, the bias shown on the iRacing Esports Network is quite unbelievable. Year one racing, who are racing today as well. Not going to get a whole lot of favoritism today, at least from myself. As I was saying earlier on, 20-minute qualifying, and we are currently 8 minutes through it, and this man is on provisional pole. It's Juiz Mushti, and we never want to be harsh to people, and we are usually very harsh to Juiz Mushti, because anyone who didn't watch the first few rounds of last season, he ran out of fuel most races, and that denied him many good results. This is looking like a stunning result. It's Mushti on pole at the moment, a silver driver, so he got the gold, silver, and bronze drivers, and it's Mushti on pole position. Can Stein van Buell, who's been very strong so far this season, can he put an end to this? He just set his fastest lap. This one is an invalidated lap, but how about that, Marco? Geez, Mushti, he likes these tyres.
And we say hello to our race stewards, of course, Bardelman and Sebastian Eberer. You can see their names just in the nick of time there on the bottom of your screen. Just notice, yes, absolutely. Seems like he likes this, and this could be, of course, and will be a very important talking point throughout the season, because especially these first few races, I'd say, because who knows who is going to click immediately with these tires and who is going to struggle.
Martin Van Loosenau currently in 8th place. The start to this season has been absolutely just the worst 3 races of the season, I think, for Van Loosenau, because Daytona, he was pushed really hard by Chris Warner, I believe, in the media day last season, so I don't think that's one of his strongest circuits. Then we had Bathurst, which is just, everything can go wrong type circuit, and it really did go wrong for him. And then we got Sebring, which last season was probably his worst circuit, where he was pushed really hard by, may have even been Warner again, actually, where he didn't get pole position for like the only time that season, and only just won the race. So another tricky race for him. Good news for him is that it should improve quite a bit later on in this season, but currently down to 10th place now, even 11th, because I think James Forsythe just improved. Sam Bentham up in 6th place, his teammate David Fuller up in 7th, so that team having a very good time of it. Quantum Racing, of course. This is an incredibly mixed up field. Jack Ashton, I believe championship leader, is he? Apologies, Ashley Beard, of course, championship leader. Beard is down in 18th place. Honestly, this is quite incredible how mixed up this grid is. Some drivers, of course, Marco, doing so many hours of practice already for the 12 hours. If you're not doing the 12 hours, then, I mean, that's over half a second a lap you're going to lose just because you haven't done the laps and you haven't got the setup. I mean, it really is going to show who has put in the work in this round. It's going to be whoever's worked the hardest will definitely come out on top today.
And you can see stage 1 driver Justin Ayer going around there, leader of the bronze drivers, and if there is a place where you want to have the setup nailed down to a T, I think this is the one, because of all the big bumps, of course. Every corner has got a little bit of elevation change, little bit of banking, I should say. Not much, but still not little. And I think that some of the drivers maybe are struggling a bit. Let's get, tell you what, let's get also a look at the standings there at the front. Instead of the flag, we go with the car logo, and you can see first of the Mercedes is in 4th place. It's Neil Cooper. Then we have James Fordyke, the second of the Mercedes, and then we have Bolland, Ayer, and Barnes, and then of course Mallusono there with the Ford. First of the Ferraris is Marshall in P15. Am I missing any car out of this roundup? Yeah, the BMWs with Jeremy Essels being the first in 21st place.
Yeah, not usually a bad circuit necessarily for the BMW. This, of course, that's a car which is usually very strong through the corners, not so strong down the straights, but yeah, struggling a little bit. And the Audis looking very good themselves. The iRacing BOP not too bad at the moment. Apparently the Merc, according to the chat, is not too strong anymore, according to Mark Fletcher, who of course is racing in the World GT Championship the other day on Monday. Of course, you can check that out every Monday, presented again by Apex Racing TV. Also, if he wins that championship, then he gets me some flip-flops, which I would mega appreciate, Mark, on my feet. So Steinman Buell has taken pole position whilst a few minutes ago. Jack Ashton has just popped himself up into second place, half a tenth slower. At the moment, Van Buell is on pole with a 59.8. The top 21 drivers separated by 1 second, and even behind that, I mean the top 25 drivers separated by 1.25 seconds. It is close out there, undoubtedly, and still, Martin Lee's not down in 13th place. Is the car number 1. Neil Cooper trying to improve. He's had a all-right season so far, in second place in the championship. Didn't have a particularly good Daytona, I think perhaps even finishing outside the top 10 places, but much better at Bathurst. And he's improving a little bit himself at the moment in 5th position at the moment. Top of the silver drivers, of course, is Dries Mucci, and top of the bronze drivers is Sam Bentham. Justin Nair, still a bronze driver it seems, Marco, which is remarkable considering his exploits at Bathurst 2 weeks ago. Well, if he keeps on driving like that, he's going to keep his bronze license. But I mean, he was incredibly consistent, and at Daytona as well, he was very strong. And today he's pretty quick. So, he was your pick for the bronze class victory, and he's looking very strong again.
I think maybe I have received messages from. First of all, let me use these final 5 minutes of qualifying. Just a second to say a massive thank you, of course, to the guy behind all of this, Ian Roots, who has announced that at the end of the season he will step down from Simracersworld organization duties, etc. And it was a very, very passionate statement he read the other day, and really, without him, none of this would be possible, and he will be the first to say that it's not true, that without a lot of people, none of this would be possible. And in a sense, he's right, but he was the idea behind it, the catalyst behind it. And thank you, because, I mean, I speak personally, this has been the first series I was able to cover on the iRacing Esports Network. Gave me a fantastic chance. The series is very strong. Hopefully the endurance series, they have the TCR series also that I saw last night with Haslington, a very nice broadcast. So there's a strong backbone to these championships, to this series. I'm sure they are in good hands going on in the future. But a massive thank you to Ian for everything he has done, and I think the sentiment has been echoed all throughout the field and the people signed up to the Simracersworld group on Facebook.
Yeah, definitely, and of course, yeah, Ian, very much responsible for the way that Simracersworld has grown, and always been very humble about it. Always kept on working hard, hasn't been complacent. Hence why the community has continued to grow. And yeah, big thanks to him. And it's just a shame that he's not out on circuit. I'm really missing him out on circuit, because I can always make a joke out of him. Because well, he's not very good, and I can always say, haha, look, it's Ian Roots not doing very well again. But now he's not out there. I can't do that, so I'm gonna have to bully someone else now. But no, thanks to Ian, and hopefully see him in some capacity back involved in Simracersworld in the near future. Still got a little bit longer as one of the leading stewards, of course. Martin van Leeuwenhoek has put himself up into 3rd place on the grid. He's 1/10 of a second off pole, and he's still out there. on circuit. He can still improve on his time potentially. Jack Ashton is also coming up to the line. These sunset bends. That Audi looked very nice over there, over the bumps. Only needs to improve by 0.5 of a second to take pole. However, that is an invalidated lap time. Could have well been an outlap. He has got some fresh air though in front of him. It might be worth just we've seen some TV2 cameras of him coming around this circuit to see if he can just improve by a tiny margin to take pole. Still got Mujdi as well. Out on second. Van Buel is back in the pits, it seems. So Van Buel's not going to be able to improve. Ashton is on a lap. Van Loosen was going to get 2 more laps in if he's got the fuel to do it, and so too will Mujdi. So it really could go to many other drivers. Hawkins, Shermans, and Cooper, though. 5th, 6th, and 7th, all back in the pits. Van Buel has come out of the pits, but he's not going to be able to start a lap time in time. Here comes PJ Claysons. Hasn't set a lap time so far. Got pole at Daytona. Where does he go here? It's invalidated. This is going to be his one opportunity.
Jump aboard with him, why not?
Great to hear the McLaren grunt.
Needs to be perfect. He knows, first of all, that if you get an off track, you are out of contention. Secondly, he has got, I think, according to our live timing, 9 laps in the books already in this qualifying session, but
Wow.
nothing to show for.
Yeah, literally every single one of them invalidated. That's remarkable.
I was about to say that, you know, if you only have one shot, the tires will not be warm enough. But apparently he had some shots at it. But I don't know how many times he jumped back to the pits during this 20-minute time period. But you know, that is not ideal. Putting all your eggs in one basket.
Well, it's a good lap so far. He's keeping it within the white lines. Jack Ashton, by the way, has just crossed the line. Hasn't improved.
He crashed in the final corner.
The flag is out, yeah. So I don't think he got across the line in time.
No, I think he had an issue in the final corner.
Ah, okay.
There is.
There he is. Yeah.
We have seen plenty of spins like this so far, by the way, by many cars. I saw them in practice, and I saw them in the race. So
Van Loosen's still out on a lap, so can improve. Here comes Claysons. We think this is going to be a valid lap for him, for the first time in this qualifying. Coming through Sunset Bend, doesn't clip the wall. Very neat and tidy for PJ Claysons. Remarkable how he hasn't set a valid lap time so far, because that was a very nice time. Can he improve? No, it's another invalidated lap. So maybe he's got like a penalty or something applied to him. And he can't seem to set a valid lap time. Very strange. Van Loosenod then. Still to cross the line. This is going to be his 7th lap. And he's in the pits. Van Loosenod isn't going to get his first pole position of the season. Steve Clays has just crossed the line. I think remains in 11th place. Louis Hank crosses the line. Can he improve? No, he can't. That's a while off. No, sorry, he can.
He did,
Hank
yeah.
Goes
up
up
to
into 5th
P5,
position.
Yeah.
Very nicely done. And that puts him 2nd place out of the silver drivers. Mighty effort from the rookie. Still got Murray and Hessels, Diemer as well. Hessels moves up to 18th place. Diemer doesn't improve. In fact, he may have improved, but I don't think he was enough to elevate to many places. No, sorry, he didn't improve. Apologies. But yeah, Murray as well, still out on second. I believe this is a valid lap time here for Adam Murray. The gold driver car number 31 takes the shortest route to the line. And he's 2/10 off his best time, so he remains in 17th place.
Yeah, sorry, apologies. Just noticed that I didn't activate the lap times on the timing tower when each driver came by, so I thought that was so there was something wrong with the overlay, and it was right, but it was completely my fault. PJ Clayson's getting some sponsor time. This is not a valid lap. No, that is just unfair to the groundskeepers. I'm sorry. And the marshals and all the people who work. I mean, I have to say, I miss.
Someone's got to clean the car as well.
Yeah, I miss my job, and now that the Romy Pri has been cancelled, I'm a bit sad. That was my chance at stardom on worldwide television. Oh well.
It was. I mean,
I mean,
if you've messed that up as much as you usually mess up commentary, then yeah, it would have been. If you remember that Marshall guy, he accidentally ran into a car.
Oh.
It'd be viral, but no, you missed out on your chance on that one. Anyway, we've got the full formation up, so no rush, everyone. And we've got a few names as well, so we can take our time. On pole position for round 3 of the Simracersworld GT Championship is Stein Van Buell. Half a tenth of a second clear of Jack Ashton. Marksman Loosenod lines up in 3rd place. His 3rd second race start of the season. Juice Moosty is best ever qualifying. Lines up in 4th. Louis Hank is in 5th. Seb Hawkins, 6th. Didn't talk about him too much. But good end to that qualifying session for him, up in 6th place. There's Nick Shermans, Neil Cooper. Sam Bentham is top of the bronze drivers. David Fuller rounds out the top 10. Then it's Bod Boland, watch out for him. Steve Clays, James Forsythe, Justin Nair, another driver who's usually very strong in the races. John Barnes, Ewan Marshall, Adam Murray, Jeremy Hessels, Stephen Opstal, Ollie Slade, John Tusting, Ashley Beard, Lee Deemer, Sean McConville, Ronald Moons, Stephen DeWolf, Matthias Tem, Hendrik de Grave, Rob Thiessen, and Paul Gosling rounds out the top 30. And then behind that is Ryan Walker, Steve Kastrop, Kim Bayetz, Pim Bao, Kevin Boland, Lee Woodburn, Dysberg, Kevin De Winter, James Hobden, and Simon Van Dyke. Then, because his number is lower than the others, PJ Claysons will line up in 41st place. Then it will be Ben Llewellyn and Lewis Ward rounding out this 43 field. Terrific turnout once again in the Simracersworld GT Championship. And Ward as well, another one to look out for him. And Claysons will be gaining many places through this race as pace car, I think, about to pull away. I can't even see what the pace car is, Marco, but it is the Mustang once again, and that is Ian Roots' legacy to the series. That's he likes me so much, they put the Mustang on there. Of course, anyone who read the patch notes, the Rough is no longer a pace car. I mean, what's that about?
That is absolutely disgraceful, and I really think that it was a bad decision. I'm very sad about it.
I mean, I swear, honestly, if they get rid of the Mustang, then every time I'm on the iRacing esports now, I will be talking more rubbish about iRacing than we usually do. And we usually really criticize iRacing on these broadcasts. But the Mustang's still there. The Mustang or the Porsche 911 are the only 2 cars available now for the pace car. Don't know why they don't have the Mercedes, because it replicates Formula 1, of course.
I think you said the magic words there, Formula 1. Oh, by the way, this year, after 1 year from your suggestion, we are doing, me and my friends, the F1 bingo. With the
cool, okay.
with the shuffling predictions, etc. Yeah, hopefully the season will be held, because we have...
Honestly, just fast forward to 2021 at this point.
Oh yeah, I mean, at this rate.
You know when you got like FIFA and you can skip games?
Yeah.
They should just do that, honestly. Just go to the next season with all the new cars and stuff. Anyway, we don't want to skip this season because we've got quite a tight, tantalising championship situation. Stein Van Buell, going into this round of the championship, is quite far down in the standings. I'm not quite sure why he's so far down in the standings, Van Buell. Well, I'm sure he will be very strong. His brother and his teammate Ruben Van Buell doesn't seem to be here today. So
yeah, because Ruben is recovering from his injuries, of course, in his bike accident. Yeah. And as per usual, we wish him the best. iRacing not updating again the headlights on the McLaren, so they are disgracefully turned off. I noticed that also Ruben used to race with a Michael Schumacher Jordan tribute livery, and as you can see, Stein is racing with an Ayrton Senna tribute livery. I think paying homage to his helmet, as you can see. Maybe you can see, Sam. I'm of course.
I can see.
Wild speculation on my part. You know, the more I stay at home, the more I get bitter. So in 1 month's time, who knows?
Oh, you don't want to see that. Anyway, the pace lap is nearly complete, and we're about to get this 1 hour race start. So remember, a mandatory pit stop for the drivers to complete. They can pit as late as about the 45-minute mark. It's Stein Van Buell on pole position. Jack Ashton alongside him. What can Van Loosenholt do? Can he get his championship back on the right course? Drives round Sunset Bend. The Mustang pace car will come into the pits. And 1 hour of racing at Sebring is underway in the Dynamic Simracersworld GT Series. Very strong start for Van Buell to pull a 10th.5 gap. He can take the racing line going into turn 1. Van Loosenholt is under big pressure straight away from Dries Mushi, trying to go round his outside. He might run wide, Van Loosenholt.
Oh, the teammates touch!
The Quantum teammates have spun into one another. And then there's David Fuller dropping down the order. I'm not sure whose fault that was. We might get a replay of it later on. But it was just a tap for his teammate Sam Bentham. And now we've got a few others off as well. Bentham is dropping down the order himself. Nair with a very good start. Marshall has had a tricky start. Also, Ronald Moons, I believe, is just fallen off the circuit as well. Out in the lead, Van Buell only just ahead of Ashton, who might think about going for a move. It's no change in the top 8. But what a shame for David Fuller.
Yeah, I mean, especially since...
and here comes the lead.
Pass for the lead.
It's going to go side by side. It was a mistake from Van Buell to run wide at the hairpin, and he's going to lose 1, and he's going to lose 2 positions, and the pole sitter has made a critical error early on in this race. And now Van Loosenholt is going to go into the lead as well. A mistake from Ashton, and the floodgates have opened, and suddenly it's the 2-time defending champion who's into the lead here at Sebring.
And the Blue Oval leading the way here in Sebring. What a beautiful, beautiful thing with Martin van Loosenholt as behind. We have some issues for Adam Murray. Where he is? He's pointing in the wrong direction, unfortunately, with his year 1 Mercedes. And also another driver is having
Paul
issues.
Gosling.
Yeah, Paul Gosling. I cannot find him anymore. He should be somewhere. That's not good. That's a blown engine, unfortunately, for Paul.
Wow, I don't know how he's hit the wall from there.
Disc tires and the grass! Oh man, we haven't talked about the grass. And we will need to, because with the new tire model, for those who are new or don't know it, it's not a new tire model anymore, but you know what I mean. If you hit the grass, you are going for a ride. You are not coming back.
Awful first lap for Stein Van Buell. He lost the place to Jack Ashton as well. Now he's home to defend from Mujdi, who's going down his inside into turn 1. Mujdi, who almost got back past Van Loosenholt going into turn 1. Backed out of it probably wisely. And he's looking very strong, backing up his strong qualifying position. There's Louis Hank as well just behind. Goes back to Neil Cooper, this top 8. And then Justin Nair up 5 places. By far the biggest gainer outside the drivers in the top 10. Also Hessels, Van Opstal, off for Stephen de Wolf. However, I think he's got back on the circuit. No, he's still off the circuit. And just as Michael was saying a moment ago, the grass, like ice. And many of these drivers who have been driving these GT3 solely and haven't been exposed to the new tire model, this will be a massive shock to them.
Beautiful aerial views from Sebring, lap 2 of the race, as we have Kastrop with big issues. It
was a great start as well for Kastrop.
The collision with Marshall, or 2 separate crashes? No, he's lead there, let's see. So Marshall's incident was separate, my apologies. Oh, I did this mistake yesterday in an official race. I feel for him. I made the exact same mistake in an official IMSA race yesterday. You know why? I was checking my STK gaming app.
Oh dear. Not that again. At least it wasn't down a straight this time. You're improving in some departments.
I mean, we should. I mean, the best thing, best place to check it should be on the straight, no?
Yeah. to be fair, probably not through a difficult corner as that is. Naya trying to. Oh, sorry, Boland actually going back past Naya then. That was a simple move down into Sunset. We're meant to be experts on this, Marco. We're winners around this circuit. Can't be giving these mistakes that you've made.
Yeah.
It makes us look unprofessional. Van Leesenhall's just set the fastest lap of the race, a 2-minute point 4. That's only about half a second slower than his qualifying time, which is impressive, seeing that, of course, he's got a lot of fuel on board, and along with the fact that these tyres will probably still be warming up. They'll probably get into their prime in a couple of laps' time. So that's really impressive for him. Replay of Sam Bentham running wide through turn 1, and all of a sudden, with this new time model, you kind of expect him to slide off into the wall, but he kept the car nice and straight there, and he didn't go spearing off.
Couple of issues also for a little bit of an off for Neil Cooper, but he got lucky, unlike that Meraki car earlier. And here we have the Wolf. Oh, that's a massive hit to the side. So Sam, I was thinking in my mind a couple of minutes ago, and now more than ever, if we take a look at the gap, I think that this is the kind of race that Martin van Loosenaar wants, and we know that when he's in this position, it's absolutely massively tough to get him out of where he is right now. If he's in the lead and he's pulling away, he can drive a Ford, a Ferrari, a Mercedes, a McLaren, a Roof, a BMW, missing one. You are not in a good position if you're trying to catch him. And these two passes he made with very big bravery and opportunism in the first lap certainly put him in his favorite position, because he is in his element and he will look to pull away.
On this lap, it seems like Ashton has kind of maintained the gap. He had a very good sunset bend, actually, did Ashton. Just taking about a quarter of a second out of him through that last section, and was about half a tenth of a second slower on that last tour. So he is keeping him honest, but you're absolutely right, Marco. I mean, to overtake Van Loosenaar from this position is going to be extremely difficult to achieve. Further behind, this is Rob Thiessen. Battle around the top 20 positions. Moon's going past Thiessen here. Goes down the inside, but Thiessen with much better speed on the outside, and that momentum carrying him back ahead. So he hangs on to that position, does the rev match driver.
Oh, the Wolf with another issue. Sorry to interrupt you, Sam.
Oh, and Van Opstal as well.
And also Van Opstal, you are absolutely right. Oh! Oh no! Hassel's involved, the Beard is involved. That is a massive shot! Oh, the car! Thankfully, Jeremy was able to stop the car there. As McConville is around, big drama.
McConville was in 20th place, just ahead of that Thiessen battle. And this is what happened then. So Van Opstal ahead, or did he get a hit? I guess he must have got a hit from behind, maybe a little bit of netcode.
Impossible to control, unfortunately. And off into the barriers. Let's get from the blimp. I think it was all on his own. And this shows you how treacherous this grass is the moment you step on it. And look, he's doing his darnest to keep that car stopped. But it's not possible, unfortunately.
And then coming in behind, was it Forstijk, I think, who had that extra tap in the year 1 racing car? And then Hessel's probably the most innocent party out of that.
I think it was maybe Ashley Beard. Yeah, it
could
was.
Be right. Yeah. Beard down into
oh, 3 wide.
Touches Beard. Oh, Thiessen again, and Moons has got past Thiessen this time, and that's Ryan Walker just behind them.
Great battle continuing. Reminder that you can follow the live timing, link is in the description. And you can check where your favorite driver is, see the latest lap times and all the updates. By the way, just as we are talking about updates, the weather, still 26 degrees on the track. They are mimicking the weather for the special event, so it's certainly as close, of course. Who knows what curveball iRacing weather might give the drivers on Saturday? But yeah, this is as close as possible to the conditions that iRacing has set for the race on Saturday.
Yep, and like I said, it should rise quite considerably as the event goes on. But at the moment, yeah, not increasing too much. Maybe if we get rid of a few clouds, it might start heating up the track a bit more. John Tusting doing really well in 15th place. He's just ahead of lead Dima. Mateus Tem is behind them by 3 seconds. He's up 10 places, is Mateus Tem. And a little bit by himself, which is a welcome position. Bod Bolans is off. And can he keep control of the car? Yes, he can. The grass has featured so much already today. It's not usually that much of a factor in the other cars, but I guess it's just such a surprise to these guys. Justin Nair, as he just got past Neil Cooper. I believe that is an overtake for Nair. Cooper with a bit of a slide for him, can't get the throttle down, can't launch an attack at his rival. And Nair is up into 8th position now.
Martin van Loozenord has got 2 minute 00.23. That's the fastest lap of the race in the meantime. Gap to Ashton, still 1 second. 2.3 over Stijn van Buwel. Then Dries Mujdi and Louis Sainke are respectively 3.7 and 4.4 seconds away. Justin Nair is the leader of the bronze class. You can see him right now as lots of fighting here, as PJ Claessens has a big off.
He was making good progress, was Claessens, was in the top 20. And going into turn 1. Has he... Oh, that's a strange one. Did he hit the inside wall?
No?
Well, he's out of the race. And Claessens, who, of course, retired from Daytona as well. Hessels with so much damage.
Yeah, I think he called it a day, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
And he does a barrel roll for good measure. Lots of points in style. I don't think a lot of points in the championship.
Van Loozenord still leads by 1.3 seconds. But he's not pulling away much. Ashton closing in down this back straights as well. You can see how close everyone is. Not more than 2 seconds really separating any of these guys. Here comes Shermans getting past Hawkins now. This is for 7th place. And he's got past Hawkins. Hawkins might be able to come back in his Audi going into turn 1. Of course, wide entry. We were talking about this on the Apex Racing League GT Championship on Sunday, how tricky it is to defend into turn 1. But didn't need to defend on that occasion, did Nick Shermans. How hard do you think Ashton is pushing right now, Mark? Do you think he's trying absolutely everything, or is he thinking, I can keep relatively close to this guy? There's no need to stay too close to him right now because, I mean, ever since lap 1, the gap hasn't really changed.
You know what, Sam? I think that drivers will need to use their heads a bit more. I think that you were right when we talk about the tires. Because still, these drivers will not change them, of course, as we all know, but this is even more important in my opinion, because it means that the drivers will have to be even more careful and arrive at the end of the race with less tire compared to the past, no? So the fact that they will not stop to change tires makes it even more important to have a good pace and you know, good having respect of the rubber. Oh, Kastrop with an alternative line there. He clips the grass, but not only he keeps the car in one piece, but also makes the overtake on Walker, as Walker will probably try to go for another attack here, but if you hold the inside, you're very tough to get past. Oh, there's a big mess here with also Clays and Forsdyke joining the party. I know that I don't know. I don't know if the Ford. I mean, we know the Ford is a great driver. Does the Ford respect the tires?
Oh, this is close. Not wanting to leave him any room did Steve Clays there. Going into Sunset Bend, Forsdyke forces his way past.
Oh, in the wall is Walker.
Oh, in the wall is, yep. And that's actually helped out Steve Clays, who I think has managed to be able to get back past. How much steering damage has Walker got? That could be terminal. No, it's okay for him. His steering still seems to be straight. Certainly has hurt his pace, though.
This is Simon
Van Dijk back
Van
into
Dijk,
the
yeah.
pit.
As you can see, and you have seen this many times, even the laziest of spins can kill you. And you are never catching that car again unless you are massively lucky. Oh, by the way, let's check in on our big loser of the first corner, which was, of course, David Fuller. And he has not restarted. I don't know if you will be able to get the replay now that I'm bringing it back on the screen, Sam. Provided I can go back to it. I want to see how hard was his crash. Here we go. You can see there was a bit of cloud cover at the start of the race as they were entering turn 1.
Yeah, because him and Bentham down the inside at this point. Oh, you can see Bentham trying to leave room actually for the or the Meraki driver on the outside as well, and hence why he just made a little bit of contact with his teammate and spinning off into the wall. With Dave Fuller, the most unlucky man in this series. Had a good Bathurst round, to be fair, but apart from that, last season been very tricky.
As Lee Deemer smashes into the wall. We risk having one of the biggest races of attrition in recent memory in this championship, Sam. We know that Sebring is usually a tough track in real life and in iRacing, but we already have several cars parked in the pits. As a matter of fact, we have 32 cars left after only 15 minutes. We have had plenty of retirements, plus a couple of drivers, including Chris Moretta, who sadly couldn't take the start due to technical issues. But these tires and this grass, this how can I call it? I don't know. This Icelandic grass, you know, it's a skating rink grass. Is really catching these guys unawares.
It really is. Like I said earlier on, it's much more of a factor than we've ever seen it play. Bod Boland is falling back again. Him and Neil Cooper have had a little bit of a tricky race because they were fighting for higher positions. They were both ahead of Justin Nair in the early stages, but now Nair is quite a bit ahead of them, 4 seconds ahead, in fact, and you can see the damage on their respective cars. Alternative lines from this part of the track, it almost gives an opportunity for the Fury sim racing driver to have an overtaking chance. Ollie Slade is up 9 places just behind them, and of course Sam Bentham. Not quite sure why Bentham lost places. Must have been involved in another collision after making contact with his teammates. And he's actually got his teammate John Barnes as well, who was ever so impressive at Daytona. He's just sitting behind as well.
Sam, we didn't have any information from the stewards about that first lap contact. I'm sure that they went chronologically, and I think they saw that there was nothing wrong with that. As lap 10 starts right now, and Martin van Loosenor is in the lead, but as you can see, getting closer and closer between Ashton and Van Buel. And we shall see again as Tastinger is pointing the wrong way in a very precarious position.
Has he? Oh, he's got a gap now. No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't got a gap for a little while. After Woodburn, potentially. I think Woodburn's just gone past him. Now he's going to go for it. Oh, he does the wise thing,
Oh.
actually, and does it that way.
I mean, that is slow on the track, but it will give you a driver's license as Bentham
No.
is off.
Seems like it's lost it earlier. We seen a few drivers lose it on the exit so far. It seems like he's lost it on the apex.
This is the spin we have seen so many times, and he almost collects his teammate there. In practice and qualifying, we've seen that particular corner. Also, a big apologies to everyone, but the track map doesn't want to work tonight. That corner is becoming like the final corner in the boot at Watkins Glen. It's becoming a swimming pool, to quote legendary team radio from 2007, from the Nürburgring race. What a race that was, by the way.
So, sort of. Of course, my Walker's last commentating as well.
Oh, really? Well,
I think it was. Yeah, you did like a random one for Radio 5 Live, which is one of our radio stations in the UK. Louis Hank has just got past Dries Muschti. Hank has been closing that gap for a while, got the gap down to a few tenths, and now gets past. So that is a change for the lead out of the silver drivers in the 281 car. He's been very impressive this season, got a top 10 at Daytona. I'm not sure how he did at Bathurst, so I think he may have crashed out. But he's doing very well today at Sebring. Nair has got past Seb Hawkins. That's for 7th place, and now up 7 places is Nair. The next bronze driver is Rob Thiessen, and there's about 17 seconds. In fact, even more than that, 23 seconds between the top two in the bronze category, with the issues, of course, for Bentham.
Sam, I was reading in the chat as we have once again Boland having to defend from Cooper, and Boland, you can see the Meraki car taking the inside, a little bit of a touch. Cooper goes wide, and that's the move done. The Wolf is talking about how he's not liking the new tire model on the BMW. We have to specify that the league has opened a free car switching window because of this. So up until it was, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago, you had time to change your car, penalty free. If I was a professional broadcaster, I told you who changed from what, but I have...
far beyond us.
I mean... Again, I have the excuse that in Italy we have something else in mind right now. But, I mean, there's going to be, I think, a bit of testing for Steven now, and he will have to ponder if it's worth to continue with the BMW or switch to another car. But at that case, he will have to be contending with a penalty, of course.
Yeah, so that's so that window will be open for a couple of rounds, will it?
No, it was it closed.
Oh, okay, right.
The free change closed yesterday or 2 days ago.
That is
Okay,
tough
now
forward.
I'm not a professional, but you are reaching like the rules are important. That's why I get the free flip flops and the commentator of the season.
Oh yeah, whatever. They need to brag about it, all right? Hopefully this season will be my season. Adam Murray, I believe, has just got past Stephen Castrop for 21st place. This one has been brewing for a while, and these are now leading by over 3 seconds and consistently about 2 to 2.5 tenths of a second faster than Jack Ashton. And Stijn van Buel looks faster. The poles sit to you wonder where Van Buel would have been if he hadn't have made a mistake at that very corner on lap 1. Allowed past Van Leeuwenhoek and Ashton, because he seems quite bottled up at the moment. On that last lap was a tenth faster, but he's pretty much got nowhere to go. Now, a mistake from Ashton, and Van Buel is almost in range for an overtake at this next corner. No need to go defensive though for Ashton.
As there is a very nice, I mean, as we have Neil Cooper, we need to give the position back to number 26, which is Bod Boland, and that has been prompted on. You know, rightfully so, the great folks at Tier 1 are saying that Jack Ashton has signed up with their own car, of course.
Wow.
It should be Audizilla, is the name of his team, at the very least. I completely agree with them.
I mean, he's doing well, considering that.
Yeah, but you need
Especially
to respect the blue oval. I mean, everything that Year 1 say, it's always right. They are absolutely fantastic. And a company that I've been, a team I've been following for quite a bit since the days of the MX5 Amateur Cup, of course. And their fantastic flip-flops. Too bad they don't have the discount codes anymore on their cars. I used to love going on board with their MX5s, and every different driver had a different discount code on their car.
Oh, that's so smart. I mean, that's an awful idea, because Year 1 Racing, or Year 1, is a terrible company. We should also give a big thanks to DynamiXX as well, the title sponsor for this series.
Well, I think you should thank Abruzzi, because they get simware, you know.
Oh yeah, so
unless you should go to, I mean, Dynamics are fantastic, but I don't think they can bring you a live paintball match inside your house. Would be cool. Your mom would not be happy. Can you imagine hiding behind the counter or behind the table, you know?
Has to be done. Has to be done. Oh, here we go. Van Buel's got a good chance here. It moves alongside. Ashton's been making a few mistakes, and that is simple enough for Stein. Van Buel just had to be patient, and eventually he's been able to get past there. Now 5.5 seconds there. That was a poor lap for Ashton. He's lost about 2 seconds, I think, on this lap alone. And now I believe the 47 car will start to pull away, but he's left himself plenty of time to catch up to the defending champion, who has just become the first driver in this race to break the 2-minute barrier. Yeah, that was an awful lap from Ashton. He did lose over 2 seconds to the race leader, and he's only 2.5 seconds ahead of Louis Hank now. Yeah. There is the race leader in his Ford.
And he's pushing fast lap after fast lap, and now for the first time in the race he went below the 2 minutes mark. 1:59.98 for another fantastic lap. 5.3 seconds. He has really used this battle to pull away, and he is doing, again, we said it already several times today, this is his kind of race, and he was a bit dejected after Bathurst. I talked to him. He said, of course, that he was now, after this couple of bad results, more thinking of this as a fun season, you know. And maybe this, driving. First of all, I don't agree with him. I don't believe him, because I know he's a fierce competitor, and he will. In my mind, I still think that in his mind he thinks he can win the championship. But maybe being a little bit more relaxed has given him the confidence to, despite not getting his usual pole, to get those early moves done. Again, very opportunistic. You give those opportunities to Van Luzenord, he's going to take advantage of them. And when he gets on a rhythm, you are not catching him unless he makes a mistake, which with this car, of course, it's in the realm of possibilities. But look behind them, the weaving is, to quote Lewis Hamilton, I'm not weaving, I'm just trying to have him lose the draft, as he said. Don't know which race it was.
Malaysia 2010. Come on, Marco. Memory rising. Vitaly Petrov, obviously. Wait, was it? Yeah, I think it was Petrov. Yeah, so completely contradicting what I was saying a lap ago. Van Buel hasn't really pulled away. It's only half a second to Jack Ashton. He's just put in a far better lap time, has Ashton. So maybe just following another car has helped him a little bit, because before that he was making not big mistakes, but just, running offline ever so slightly occasionally.
Oh.
Lee Woodburn is dropping down the order. There he is, quite a bit away from the circuit. And he was running, Woodburn in 23rd place, but I think he's outside the top 30 now.
He is sitting in 30th place, and not only that, now down to 31st, but more importantly, he clipped the wall, so he will have to contend with a bit of damage from now until the pit stop. I don't know if you had the chance to try the new damage model on the GT4. No, well, of course you haven't, because you don't have the wheel. But it was so cool to race in the Cayman the other night and see basically that the car... I was passed by a car that had his... oh, and we have a dive bomb here from Tem. Moons clips the curb and loses the position. I was overtaken by a car who had his rear window, not the back window, flapping all over the place.
Its rear window was... Wow, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, you know, the one where you look when you want to park, no, behind. Which also tells you how slow I was going, because that is not very aerodynamically sound, if you ask me. But it was so hypnotic to see that glass bounce up and down.
And we should give a very big thanks to iRacing, because this is the iRacing
Oh!
Network all spin for Hank. And he's lost the place to Mujdi, and I think it might get a whole lot worse for him. Oh, he's in a tricky situation here, so he's going to have to do a 5-point turn. Can he get it round this time? He needs to... It's when you really want to just toggle the traction control on and off to have a nice spin. And just an easy mistake at Sunset Bend, and that could well be partly due to the tyres degrading as well. And he has got back going, has Hank, but down in 12th place. So Mujdi is up into 4th, Sherman's is up into 5th. And Hank, who of course was leading out of the silver drivers as well. And that is a crucial mistake from him, and means that Dries Mujdi is now the leader in that category.
Yeah, he got passed by Schurmans, of course, Slade, Barnes, and now down to 5th place in his class from the lead. Thankfully for him, I think he found the only place in that portion of the racetrack where if you spin you don't find a wall, but there was a nice grassy area there, or icy area, should I say. I'm surprised they haven't still cut out our connection tonight.
Honestly, yeah.
I mean, I think...
Well, I was going to compliment their damage model, actually, so I will say that now. The iRacing damage model, which has been released to a number of cars already, is extremely good. Thanks to iRacing, of course. Do you sign up? You can get a really cheap 3-month subscription. You can get like it's like $12 or something for your first 3 months, which is like really good. And then after that, you will spend all your money on iRacing because it's ridiculously expensive and overpriced. So that's I really do recommend getting that 3-month subscription. And yeah, there you go. That was a compliment mixed in with a criticism. I think that was quite balanced.
I am absolutely positive we are on their blacklist.
I think we've been there for a while.
They are waiting for our first significant slip up to silence mid-broadcast one of these days.
John Barnes is in 11th place. Ollie Slade up into 10th. And we've complimented Ollie Slade quite a bit so far this season. He's always kind of just there in the top 20. Now he comes into the pits, which is early.
Yes, but you know, half an hour has already passed, and that was the battle for third place in class in the meantime, which now this is the battle for third place in class. You know, halfway through the race already, which means that we are having a lot of fun. Steve Clace, by the way, has been trying to recover after another difficult start. This season is not having the best of starts, and now Tem has gone on the inside after Steve passed him in Sunset Bend. Sitting in 15th, and he lost 9 places compared to his starting position as he gives... no, sorry, he lost 3 places, apologies, he lost 9 places in class. Maybe, okay, I'm making a bit of a mess of it. But yeah, let's see where Ollie Slade has rejoined, by the way. In a bit of traffic, Sam, with the winter and Tasting. this might not be a good gamble for Ollie, I think, because it's going to be tough to get past his competitors.
I mean, there's a chance they just didn't put a whole lot of fuel into start. It'll be interesting to see to compare his pit stop time with everyone else, because that was 19 seconds, which seems quite long. Usually we only see about 12 or 13 seconds. Obviously that changes for the fuel consumption for each circuit. This is I think a bit of a mid-length fuel consumption circuit, not particularly high, not particularly low. So I wonder if Ollie just started with a bit less fuel, maybe to have a quick first in, as Van Loozenord has come into the pits as well. That's very interesting. So
we have an issue, a big issue.
Oh,
Bars and Hank.
10th place. And Hank was leading. No, sorry, he was second place out of the silver judge, or maybe third place. Here
Fifth.
it is.
Because he had the spin at Sunset a couple of laps ago.
Of course, yeah.
Oh, I think he managed to get away with it, both of them apparently. Which was not what I was expecting. Let's see Martin van Loozenord, by the way. I promise you he's there, somewhere. Who did these cameras?
Oh, he's still stationary. This is a long pit stop for Van Loozenord. He's up to 22 seconds. That is 3 seconds longer than Ollie Slade. And I was saying how long Ollie Slade's pit stop was. I genuinely think that has... I think he's put less fuel in the car, Van Loozenord. I don't know why he would, but I don't know why he just didn't stay out longer, because he had a comfortable gap. And all of a sudden, Stijn van Buel and Jack Ashton maybe have a route back into this race. Ashton's just at the fastest lap of the race now. I mean, where was this pace 10 laps ago? I mean, he was struggling to get into the 2-minute ones 10 laps ago. Now, sub 2 minutes, easy peasy. Boland's into the pits and Beard. So I guess everyone else will be coming into the pits this lap as well.
We have a communication from race control. Commentator standards warning for Sam Fitzpatrick. Excessive criticism of iRacing on lap 16. I have to say, I don't usually agree with the stewards, but I agree with them in this case.
Honestly, I'll start on Simracersworld if they're not careful. Ashton still only 6 tenths of a second behind. If anyone's going to be... Well, I guess Van Buel was stuck behind Ashton for a while as well, so they might have saved a bit of fuel, so they might be able to go 1 lap longer. Maybe this is 1 lap longer. Pretty much half the drivers have come in so far, and they're staying out. No thoughts of a pit stop there. How strong is this lap for them? They crossed the line, 2-minute point 3. So not quite as strong as last time, but it's still all right. That is close between Sherman's and Nair. Nair catching up to Sherman's late on in that stint. Muesli stayed out, but everyone else at the moment is coming into the pits. Where's Van Loozenord? Van Loozenord's stuck behind Moons. So Van Loozenord is going to have a bit of a slow lap. I say he's stuck behind Moons. If he can get past through turn 1, he might not lose too much time here, Mark Van Loozenord. But other pit stops, by the way, have been around the 20-second mark. So it seems as though Van Loozenord's pit stop wasn't too slow. However, it's far from the fastest. So there's an opportunity for Van Buel to catch a little bit.
Here are the pit stop times. You can see them. Also, some of them are live. A feature I just discovered this exact moment. Thank you to Bram van Uitven for telling us that Steve Claes has had a connection issue at the beginning of the race, which I didn't notice. So, massive traffic jam in the pits, as you can see. You can see, so Van Loozenord 22.5, Schurman's 20.1.
Cooper and Slade.
Cooper and... Where are they?
I'll say, Slade is still a bit behind Cooper. Apologies, I thought that was going to be close out of the pits, but quite comfortable for Cooper.
So far the outlier has been slightly, of course, Slade with 19.2. The extreme has been 23.6 from Nair. 22.6 from Rob Thiessen right now.
Hawkins was 18.9.
Yes.
Which is strange because... So Hawkins has actually got ahead of Nair, I believe, in the pit stops. I think Nair got past Hawkins in the first stint, and then because of a 5-second quicker pit stop, or 4.5-second quicker pit stop, he's got back ahead. Here comes Van Buel then. So, really, where has Van Loozenord been in much traffic? I don't know. He's kind of been all right, actually. Of course, a bit more fuel, so I imagine Van Buel and Ashton have been a bit faster. They probably need 18 seconds. if they're going to get ahead of Van Loozenor, because the gap was at about 5 seconds, 6 seconds. I think they've probably made up a second or two during these extra couple of laps that they've stayed out, and then they need to gain about 4 more seconds in the pit stop. So they'll probably still be behind, up to 14 seconds, 15, 16, 17, 18, 18.2 for Van Buel, quick pit stop. Ashton, 20.6. And it is close. Van Loozenor will still be ahead, but the gap, which was 5 or 6 seconds, like I was saying, Van Buel now only 2.5 seconds behind. So it's worked out decently for them. Ashton is in third.
So it was not Bram Van Oudtman, it was another Bram who said that tidbit about Steve Claes. So Bram, no last name. Please, if you want, reveal yourself so we don't confuse you with Mr. Van Oudtman again. The amount of people, of course, I mean, it's fantastic how many people come and join us every time as the winter has disappeared.
He's back to the pits.
Yeah. No, he hasn't told. He's coming to the pits. I don't know why he's being shown as the leader.
Yeah, he's being shown as completed 21 laps.
Okay, now he's
yeah, that was strange.
So Bram Van Oudtman this time says maybe Van Loozenor accidentally changed the tires. Well,
yeah, that'd be a lot longer, wouldn't it?
Maybe only one. Now
maybe he you know, opened the boot and put in a new spare tire just in case he has an issue at some point around the track. But yeah, he lost 4 seconds in the pits, so it was a bit of a trouble for him.
Trying to
2
get
seconds ahead of Van Buel.
A good shot of his pit stop.
Maybe TV2.
Beautiful. Look at the pace car. So he does the fuel here. Let's see if the car goes up.
Apparently, Justin Nair overshot his pit stop. So thanks to a swift shot for that one. Hence why Nair is down to 7th place behind Hawkins. However, it does look a bit inevitable right now that Nair will be able to get back past. Rob Eason in trouble, so he was as high as 2nd place out of the bronze drivers earlier on.
As we get a replay, we have checked and Van Loozenor hasn't changed tires, so we prefer the other Bram to Bram Van Oudtman in terms of suggestions about what has happened. I think there should be a penalty for Bram Van Oudtman for this wrong suggestion.
Yep, Seb Herber, get onto it. By the way, thanks to everyone who's tuned in, apart from Bram Van Oudtman. 80 viewers, which is, I mean, pretty much higher than the entire iRacing subscriber base. Which is,
oh man, we are so getting fired by the end of the season. And you know what? I am innocent in all of this.
You really are. Okay, I'll even it out. iRacing with oh, it's tricky to even it out because there's not much to talk about. iRacing, of course, continuing to add new content, and of course, the GT4 cars now released on iRacing. So if you're a big fan of GT4 racing, certainly iRacing is the game for you because, of course, the Porsche is released, and of course, we'll have the BMW as well coming out at some point, and with plenty of other cars, I'm sure, coming our way in the near future. Kevin Boland, stationary.
He was coming out of turn 1, he was already last of the running cars. Okay, no, well, he went into the... okay, he was not in the middle of the track, as I first thought. He was just in a... You know, I appreciate a driver who does that in real life. And also in iRacing. As Tammy has got an issue. And you can see him, the Fury car, pointing in the wrong direction. Let's see.
15. Had a James Forsythe.
Did he
And he's
clip the
still
wall?
dropping places.
Oh man, he did, and some. Big hit for him. So, lap time comparison. Why not last lap? Half a second gained by Van Buel on Van Loosenord.
Yeah, that was personal best lap time for Van Buel, which is really impressive considering that he's just put in a load more fuel into the car. You'd think the that extra weight and the tires as well degrading constantly that would really affect him. The track temperature is up to 28, so it really hasn't increased that much. However, it has got a little bit more sunny, so it could increase a bit more. 10:30 in the morning on the 15th of March, of course. Sam Bentham is up into 10th place. Not sure if we've really noticed that too much. And Isade is up into 9th. Neil Cooper in 8th. So those guys are gaining a few places with, of course, with the issues that we've seen for a few drivers in recent laps. On this lap, it seems like Van Buel has continued to catch up. And he does seem to be good down the straights, does Van Buel. That McLaren has always been strong down the straights. The Mercedes as well in the last few months has been good down the straights as well. And Loosenord maybe just runs a little bit wide. That might be the line that he prefers, but, well, if it is the line he prefers, I recommend changing it because he lost quite a bit of time. And on this lap, Van Loosenord does a 2:73. Van Buel, another very consistent lap time. That's only 1/100th of a second slower than his last lap time, which was his best lap time of the race. So he's absolutely maxing out that McLaren 12C right now. And it's a bit inevitable that he's going to catch up. The question is, can he overtake?
Yes. 0.6 gained by Van Buel in this last lap. Let's now get the sector comparison for this lap.
Van Loosenord good through the first sector. Bod Burns just got past Louis Hank, by the way, for 11th place. Pretty much, there's no battles going on elsewhere in the top 20. All Bowen's got an issue. He's just lost that place now to Hank. Maybe had a small off, I'm not sure. Maybe it was a bold move from Hank, but suddenly Bowen's struggling to get back his momentum. Actually, Beard now sitting on his back bumper.
This is the whole story, starting from Sunset Bend. Boland in the Meraki car, anche in the multicolored Flemish Simsports car. They passed each other several times. And we have a replay. Stijn Van Buel maybe made a mistake.
Ooh.
He did.
Lost about 3/4 of a second.
Let's see, this will be of course a good lap for Van Loosenord then. Let's see. On the start-finish line, no matter the time from Van Loosenord, of course, that off will really make it a bad lap for his rival in second place. Yeah, he lost half a second, so basically he undid all the good work of the previous lap. And if there's something that we know, of course, Sam, you don't need to give this kind of gifts to Van Loosenord, especially when you're trying to catch him. Very difficult to face Van Loosenord, and he will take this breathing space with happiness.
I've seen Van Buel hasn't won a race in this series. I think Ruben Van Buel has won a race,
Yes.
but I don't believe Stein has.
You are, I think, quite correct, or at least in the time frame where we have covered the series.
Of course, one of the newer, well, I'd say newer drivers, Stein Van Buel. He's been around for a while, I think.
Yeah, he missed last season. That's why he seems new.
Yeah, and he doesn't usually drive the McLaren either, I think.
Yeah, they were both in the BMW, if I'm not mistaken.
There you go. We do know what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, I mean,
we know a bit.
Yes, a bit.
I mean, these are all guesses. We literally just throw it at the wall, and occasionally it sticks. But the statisticians lets us know. Have a scroll through the record books. What I have noticed though from Van Buel, and of course do check out the SDK Gaming live timing for this. The link is in the description. All slowed down, I think, for Van Buel. He's going very slowly. That looks very pedestrian from him. It was very strange. But Van Buel is way faster through this sunset bend. So the gap is currently 1.6 seconds. He seems to consistently gain about 2/10 through here, plus another 10th down the pit straight. And yeah, that's 2/10 gain, 1.4 seconds. And then he'll gain another 10th of a second down the pit straight.
Joe Bars.
Oh dear.
Wide, grass. And... Oh. Oh.
Oh, nice turn.
That was quite good in the end.
That was like a ballerina, honestly. It was lovely.
How can we forget, yes, Sebastian, that beautiful tic-tac livery inspired by the early cars of Michael Schumacher in F1. And as I said, Stein has, I think, switched to a more Senna-like livery for this campaign.
Still missing that. It was Hal Sadler, of course, running the
Niki Lauda, yeah.
Tribute one, which was a lovely V8 supercar machine. Has yet to transfer over to the new ones, and of course part of TechSense Fitstone Motorsport, so probably won't be running that too much. Here is Eason.
We know that the bosses at TechSense Fitstone Motorsport are very, very stubborn. They don't allow their driver creative freedom. They are slaves to the sponsors.
They're absolutely just incompetent as well. That's probably the worst thing about it. Awful team. TechSense Fitstone Motorsport. Not as bad as that 1050 Barbanera Racing. I mean, they were so bad that they had to shut down. I mean,
yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, how can you go from winning Sebring, scoring pole in the top split, from shutting down in the span of 1 month? I ask myself. Terrible, terrible management.
To be fair, what I heard was that there was this Italian bloke who was just carrying the team. He was just, everyone was dependent on him, so it was never really going to work. John Tusting in 23rd place. Like I said, not too many battles going on.
Only 10 minutes left. I completely zoned out from the clock, and it's time for the recap then, Sam, as per usual. So let's give the recap to the folks at home. Starting with the overall and gold, with Martin van Loosener leading the way in front of Stijn van Buel and Jack Ashton. To find the 4th driver, we need to jump to 7th place, Seb Hawkins. You can see him here. Oh, by the way, quietly a fantastic race from Sebastian and his Abruzzi car. And then 5th in gold and 8th overall is Neil Cooper for Fury, with a bit of damage but still holding on strong. Concerning the silver guys, we start with Dries Mujdi, who's winning his class. He's got 4.5 seconds over Nick Shermans, as you can see him here. And then 3rd, 4th and 5th are very, very close to each other. Ollie Slade leading the way, and as you can see, he's very close to Cooper, which is a gold driver, of course. Sam Bentham in 4th of the class, and 5th place, the former leader, Louis Sanke, who's having a tough race after leading, but that mistake he made was absolutely dreadful for his race. And then the bronze with Justin Nair, I think in his last bronze race of the season, leading the way with a massive margin. Here is 2nd place. He's got more than 1 minute over Rob Thyssen. 3rd place is Kevin De Winter. Actually 4th is Steven Kastrup, very close to fight for 3rd place. And not very far away, Thijs van den Berg is sitting in 27th position. As we are heading into the final, we are already in the final 7 minutes of the race. And look at this, because Stijn van Buel all of a sudden has glued himself, Sam, to the back of the Ford.
If he can just be within about half a second going into sunset, he's got such a great chance, because like I was saying before, he gains 2/10 through sunset every single time, and he's got better straight line speed. And look at this, he looks confident through the first part of this lap as well. Takes a little bit too much curve, just loses maybe a 10th there. But will drag himself a little bit closer, you'd expect, going into the right-hander hairpin. Neil Cooper being caught by Ollie Slade currently. That's for 8th position, but we'll keep our eyes on this one, I think, for the most part, towards the end of the event. I just realised as well, of course, championship leader going into this round was Ashley Beard. We've barely spoken about him. He's had a decent racer's Beard, gaining 8 places to move up into 14. But he probably won't exit this round in the lead of the championship. It'll probably be Ashton, who came into this round in 3rd place after an awful Daytona. Got a podium though, or sorry, won last time out at Bathurst, and of course looks like it's going to be another podium here at Sebring as well. And of course also Neil Cooper doing very well in the championship, and so it's going to be really close. And of course if you take into consideration the 2 drop rounds, then the 3 guys who have won races so far are going to be very strong. That's of course Danny Crows. This man, Marksman Loosenord, at the moment, it looks like he's going to win this race. And of course, Ashton also claiming a race victory. So Van Buell 0.8 of a second behind. Gets a little bit of a draft and a little bit of a slippery McLaren. So he gains a 10.5 down that back straight. And then just way more confident. Look at that. He gains a couple of car lengths and the gap straight down to 0.4 of a second. It's almost as though he's making a shortcut there. Just not the confidence for Van Liesnoord.
I remember Sam
much maintaining across that lap.
Remember, Sam, of course, the biggest problem with the Ford was the shock absorbers, the suspensions. This final corner in particular, certainly not the hunting ground, and it comes straight after, I think, the favorite part of the track for the McLaren, the long Goldman Straight. So it's a double whammy for Van Loosenord in that particular point of the track.
Much better for Van Buell through that part of the circuit. Didn't quite take as much curve. McConville with an issue. This is a replay of it. Oh, he's done that mistake. He's done the mistake. And that was into the wall hard. Hopefully, he can still continue decently competitive. I'm not 100% sure if he will. Lewis Hank has just got past Sam Bentham, or has Bentham trying to get past Hank? I think that's Bentham trying to get past Hank.
Yes. Anche so, moving up to 4th. Will he have enough time to catch Ollie Slade? No, unless Slade gets into something with Cooper.
Oh.
But we need to cut to the fight for the lead, Sam, because this could be the lap where Van Buell goes for it.
He hasn't got many more laps to go. Oh, he has a look. He's making his presence known. We have got 2 more laps after this one for there to be a change for the lead. He did lose quite a bit coming onto the back straight. It's 0.4 of a second. Like I said, he needs to be within 0.4 of a second if he wants to have a go into turn 1. Now, he could go for an ambitious move through the second part of Sunset because he has a much tighter line. He isn't close.
Van Loosenord tried a mistake.
He goes wide. And now, is there going to be contact between the 2 of them? Somehow there isn't. And I think having to get out of the thoughts of there was Stein Van Buell, because he was going to understeer into Van Liesnoord, lifted out of it. And in the end, that mistake may well have been the perfect ingredient for Van Liesnoord to hold on to the lead. 2 laps to go at Sebring.
Sam Bentham has gone very wide, and in fact losing a lot of time as Cooper and Slade still fighting, but the fight for the lead is on, and a mistake from Van Loosenord. But where is Van Buell?
Van has made a mistake. And where's Ashton? Ashton isn't going to get past. And I think this might be the race win for Martin Van Liesnoord, because he's still 3 seconds ahead. What on earth has happened at turn 2? They weren't particularly close beforehand, so I believe it's been an individual mistake from the pair of them. Ashton just wasn't close enough to take advantage of it, and now a 3-second buffer. Oh, and he's lost it early there as Van Buell.
He clipped the grass.
Still on the grass, yeah.
So let's see on board. Some damage to the Ford. Some damage certainly to the McLaren. Audi is the car that's in a better condition, but we'll have this lap and one more, so effectively Sam 1.5 laps to the end of the race. Late drama as per usual in this championship, and it seems like Van Loosenord all of a sudden, I mean, the previous lap he tried to do the tight line through sunset, he almost crashed. Couple of corners later, Van Buel loses it and crashes into him, and still he is holding the lead of the race. Absolutely incredible turn of events as the leader is about to get that white flag. That front front left of the car is not particularly good looking, but he will have to hold on for one more lap as the white flag is in the air. Sarela Blanca for Martin Van Loosenord here in Sebring as Van Buel is trying to defend from Ashton. Certainly seems like the Ford got the brunt of the beating from that crash. That McLaren looks to be okay, at least on the outside. And here we go then, one more lap to settle the score here with Van Loosenord pulling away 3.2 seconds over second place.
Seemed as though it was going towards Stein Van Buel. He had the pace over the two-time defending champion, and yet that mistake, when it really came down to it, perhaps that experience for the car number one. He's going to win another tight one at Sebring. He was pushed last season at this circuit. This season he seems to have just about got the edge on.
Oh, here comes Slade! And he touches him and he turns him!
Cooper doesn't go onto the grass late. He can get back going. Where is the oncoming traffic? He's fortunate that the Meraki car was a little bit further behind.
Will there be repercussions?
Yeah, that could be for the lead of the championship as well, because Cooper was in line perhaps to take the championship lead, but he drops from 8th place down to 11th, loses out to Hank and Boland as well. But you're absolutely right, Marco. There could be repercussions.
And Slade, Slade could lose 3rd place in the silver class on the track, or maybe post race, because he certainly has lost a bunch of time, and Anke is coming straight for him as the leaders are taking it to the Le Mans section here. And then the long, not very long in fact, right-hander into Allman Straight for Martin Van Loosenord, Stein Van Buel, Jack Ashton, as there will be, I think, one last lunge from Jack Ashton into the final corner. As you can see, the McLaren is slightly, ever so slightly, pulling away from the Ford, from the Audi, of course, but the Ford will win the race, as per usual. Well, maybe.
Here comes Martin Van Loosenord after a tricky start to the season. He's going to get back on course. He takes round 3 of the championship at Sebring. Second place is Stein Van Buel. He hangs on against Jack Ashton, winner of the Silver Drivers. Dries Mujdi, his best race ever in the series. Sherman's with a superb 5th. And Justin Nair, we've got used to this feeling. He's going to win once again in the bronze category. 6th place overall for him. Another extremely impressive performance. Here is Hank versus Slade. Hank is going to hang on.
Hank passed him at the Le Mans. Yeah.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
so
passed Le Mans corner. Yeah.
Right at the end for 8th position. Slade potentially with a penalty after the race as well. We'll leave that to the stewards to decide.
Let's see what happened here then. This is where the pass was made, maybe a mistake. Surely a mistake. Yes, went too hard on the throttle coming out. He had to lift. Anke didn't needed to be asked twice. Makes the move very early into Allman Straight. Holds it on the start-finish line. Wins the race. Well, we have a way of saying around here, Sam, that this championship, the final 10 laps are the crazier no matter what happens. And today, it was no exception.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. Really came down right to the end, didn't it? Because remember, Van Buel was 6 seconds behind at one point, and managed to go a little bit further on fuel than Van Loosenord. Playing some good lap times, had a much shorter pit stop, was faster in the second stint as well. But it wasn't enough. Kastrup with a tricky end. Something happened to Kastrup, I think. Finishes in 25th place. I saw him have a couple of offs. Ben Llewellyn, he had an off as well, but unfortunately we missed that one. So apologies to Ben. He's listening back. But he had an off earlier on. 28th, and James Hobden, rounding out the drivers, finishing on the lead lap at least, in 29th. And so we can go through your results even. Martin Van Loosenord, for the first time this season, wins a race. 2.9 seconds ahead of Stein Van Buell, who, from pole position as well. You just wonder if it weren't for that mistake on lap 1, if it weren't for the mistake on the penultimate lap as well, was that race win his? Who knows? Jack Ashton finishes in 3rd place. Jules Mushdi top of the silver drivers in 4th. Then it was Nick Sherman's. Justin Nair once again winning the bronze category as well in 6th place. Great drive through the field, gaining 8 places. Then it was Seb Hawkins, Louis Hank, Ollie Slade, and Bod Boland rounding up the top 10. Behind that was Neil Cooper, Steve Clays, Sam Bentham, Ashley Beards, former championship leader. I imagine he's going to lose that now, but still good solid points for the for him. Then it's James Forstyke, Ronald Moons, Adam Murray, Matthias Tem, Hendrik de Grey. Didn't see too much of de Grey, but he did a really good job in 19th. Ryan Walker rounding out the top 20. Then it was John Tusting, Rob Thiessen, Kevin De Winter, Kim Bayet, Steve Castrop, John Barnes, Lee Woodburn, Ben Llewellyn, James Hobden, Dysberg, John McConville, Kevin Boland, Lee Deemer, Simon Van Dyke, Jeremy Hessels, PJ Claysons. Many of these, by the way, retirements. Only the top 30 drivers finished the race. Behind Claysons was Stephen DeWolf, Stephen Opstal, Ewan Marshall, Paul Gosling, David Fuller, and Pim Bow. Lewis Ward did not take the start, along with Dan McCauley and Chris Marietta also didn't take the start. Would have been fun to see them out there. I think they may have been spotting for their teammates, perhaps. So interviews, and we are straight away going to get an interview with a driver who finished in 3rd position today. It's Jack Ashton. Congratulations, Jack. I mean, first up, penultimate lap. I mean, you must have thought you'd won the lottery when you saw your relative screen, I'm sure, but you weren't quite close enough in the end.
Yeah, no, oh, sorry, I just had an Oculus update. I hope I haven't caused any problem there. But yeah, I come onto that lap just thinking to myself, let's just keep going, make no errors, and just get round. We're almost to the finish, and I just heard yellow flag, and I thought, hey, that's probably these two in front. And yeah, soon see. I can't remember who it was now in second, right in front of me. He did well to sort of block it in front of me, position the car quite in a good place where I couldn't get past, and then he had quite good pace, so I knew I just had to stick behind from there out. But yeah, it's pretty close to getting that P2 at the end.
Absolutely. And take us through the start as well, because we saw you make a little bit of a mistake just down at the hairpin. Was that just like the cold tyres across the new tyre model changing things up, it seems, in this car?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, not too bad. I've dealt with the tyres quite well, and as better than I thought I was going to. I think what my main problem was, I was practicing qualifying for quite a bit, just to make sure I get a good spot on the race. So I've been practicing with low fuel for lap after lap after lap, and then jumping straight into the race. Braking points are a little bit back, and I've just pushed it a bit too hard where I got all excited in P1 and missed my braking point, which lost that place again. So, but I think where I finished was about right, considering the pace of the two guys in front, Martin and I forget the other guy's name.
Stein.
Yeah, Stein was seriously quick today, so hats off.
And in the championship going into this round, you were in 3rd position. I believe you'll be top of the championship now. This is very provisional points, but I think you made up enough points on Ashley Beard and Neil Cooper. So great start to the season for you, especially considering that the Daytona round very much went against you.
Yeah, when I started the Daytona round, I thought, here we go, it's going to be one of them seasons, but brung it back quite nicely with our first win, and today with the podium position, you can't go wrong. So yeah, looking good for the points. I heard Ash did have some problems with his shifter, which is probably why he wasn't doing so well, which is unfortunate for him. But yeah, I think it's just one of them, isn't it, really? Mechanical problem.
Absolutely. But you kept it very clean out there, Jack. Congratulations. Is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I just want to thank Fordzilla. I mean, they do a lot for me at the moment, and it's an ever-growing team that's getting bigger and bigger, and I think we'll probably soon see a lot more of the team in not just iRacing, many other platforms. So it's quite exciting stuff, really. Being a team that's growing quite fast, so it's quite nice to be in the team like that. So thanks to them, and thanks to you guys for the stream. Always nice to watch back at the end. So happy days.
Thank you very much, Jack, and best of luck for round 4 of the championship.
Thank you very much.
So that was Jack Ashton, like I said, I believe now the championship leader and finishing in 3rd position today. Marco, who do you fancy having a chat with?
Let's have a chat with Martin van Loosenord. Why not? Hello, Martin. Welcome to the booth.
Hello, guys.
Welcome to the booth as the winner. Congratulations for this great victory. We were talking with Sam during the race that basically you made those couple of passes at the beginning of the race, and that put you into your confidence zone, which was being in first and pushing and pulling away. That was the case until the very end of the race, and then there was that scary moment in the final, in the penultimate lap. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, the first few corners were good. I think the warming up the tires that I tried in the warm-up lap that paid out. So I had a lot more grip on the front tires, so I could overtake the guys better, I think. Then I could stretch a little bit, but not too much, because this car really is a handful to drive, and especially on worn tires. So that basically happened. I lost a few seconds in the pit stop, I think because I had to pit early, and the car is just using a little bit more fuel than the other cars. And then the McLaren was just quicker, and suddenly he was breaking into the grass, and that was almost race done for both of us. But luckily we managed to finish in P1 and P2.
It seemed like, reading around, of course, for the past few years now, the Ford really struggling with the suspension and the shock absorbers. So in the final corner, was that the reason why you were taking that longer, wider line, and in the end, you every time you lost a lot of lap, especially at the end of the race towards Stein, who was having a much tighter line with his McLaren?
Yeah, that was basically the only line that I could drive with the Ford, because when I was doing it, the tight one, it was just bouncing away into understeer. So I lost about 0.3 per lap only just in that sector, in that corner to Stein. So yeah, it was really tough to make up that time in the rest of the lap.
Well, Martin, thank you very much. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank you guys for covering this series again. I'd like to thank the staff and everyone in SRW. I'd like to thank my team, Kevin van der Slik, for making the setup, and UGX Racing Simulators, RB Skillworks, and Uitert for sponsoring.
Awesome, Martin, thank you very much, and we'll catch you hopefully next week.
Yes, bye guys.
And that was Le Champion, Martin van Loosenord, keeping the blue oval flying high and enjoying, as per usual, a little bit of the bubbly on the podium.
Yes, haven't said that for a while. The bubbly, yeah.
Because he lost the title, the wrestler on 2 Sundays ago. He lost the title at the pay-per-view, so he's now no longer Le Champion, and he no longer celebrates with a little bit of the bubbly. But the memory will live on.
He drowns his sadness, I imagine, with a little bit of the bubbly instead. At this point, we will next have a chat with another race winner. It's Justin Nair. He won the bronze race today. Justin, once again, 6th place. I mean, these are some brilliant results you're claiming in your debut season.
Yes, it's overwhelming. It's a great result again. It was a great race.
Take us through your pit stop. It seemed like you lost a little bit of time. You got past Seb Hawkins, but then you were back behind him. So what happened there?
I was in the pits, and the guy in front of me was also in the pits. And when he was too right to the wall, so I couldn't see my man with the start for my pit place. So I overdrove it, and then I take too much fuel in it. So yeah, that was a bit a bit of a mess.
Yeah, you responded extremely well, though. I mean, how have you found this new tire model? Are you a big fan of it, or are you a little bit skeptical?
It's of course great for this new tire model, but yeah, it's very hard to now to drive it. It was very slippery on the track, so yeah, it was a hard race. I sweat a lot.
Absolutely. And with the how was it overtaking out there? We saw a lot of drivers struggling to overtake, and yet you must have overtaken about 10 cars. You made it look simple.
I don't overtake guys a lot. The mostly going off the track or just that passed me. There's the I guess I passed only 1 or 2 cars. The rest was going off the track because the slippery grass, or yeah, they let me just by. Yeah.
Well, certainly still very successful to see you today. Justin, congratulations on another race win. Before we let you go, is there any shout-outs you'd like to give to anyone?
Yes, I want a shout out to my teammate Kevin De Winter. He takes a P3 this race. It's very great. It was
Absolutely.
an awesome race from him too, so that's what I want to say, of course. And yeah, a big shout out to my whole team for the training this week. So yeah, Stage 1 racing.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Justin, and best of luck for next week.
Thank you.
So that was Justin Naya, whose name I have nailed.
Fantastico,
Today.
fantastico. I mean, there are absolutely no words. This week off that we had really made you nail the pronunciation down, and it was beautiful. Another guy. I mean,
it's no question what I was doing this past fortnight, is it?
Absolutely. Well, speaking of slightly more familiar driver with us, rudely interrupted from his talk with Ollie Slade, we will get just after him for our last interview. It's Steve Clays. Hello, Steve.
Good evening, Marco and Sam.
Good evening to you, and congratulations on this race, which among the chaos at the start, we didn't notice until midway through that you started from the pits because of a connection issue, if I'm not mistaken, and so you had a lot of work to do for the entire hour of the race, and in the end, I think you can come home with a good P12, all things considered.
Yes, indeed. Like you say, I had a connection issue, or the game was a little bit stubborn, and he didn't want to let me grid, so I had to restart the game. And it was unfortunate because I had a really good qualifying 12th, which is good for my standards. And so I started from the pits 7 seconds behind everybody in 40th position. So I was like, okay, this is not going to work. But I tried to stay calm, do my laps, and yeah, I saw I really had the pace. I really had a good car, and just worked out.
How did you find yourself with the new tire model today? We have had some, let's say different opinions, not only here but also on the forums as well. What was your thought?
Well, it seems I like it. I don't know if the model is the same as in the Porsche, but I run a lot of the Porsche Cup races, so I'm.
Oh yeah, of course, you're right. Yeah.
Maybe used to it, so I don't know, but I had no issue. I had a better feeling in braking, and I always had trouble with the GT3 in that area. So it suited me. When I saw my times against the guys in front of me, I was almost 1 second faster. So yeah, could pass people one by one, and of course there were a few going left and right instead of straight. But okay, that's the race. That's for everybody the same.
Absolutely. I mean, personally, I found that the GT3 cars, especially to me, they felt a bit too slidey in the past, and this new tire model is a massive improvement in my opinion. But we'll see, of course, how things will evolve later down the line. Once again, congratulations, Steve. But before we let you go, as per usual, anyone you'd like to thank?
I want to thank the team again. Yeah, for the work we do together, the enjoyment during the race, the chit chat, the work, the practice together and stuff. So it's a great bunch of guys, and I'm really happy I joined them. And so I really want to thank Graph Match. Uh,
Awesome, Steve. Well, thank you very much, and hopefully we will catch you next week.
I hope so too. See you guys. Thank you. Bye bye.
And Sam, hopefully you can hear me. Yes. And as I spoiled earlier, I think you're standing by with our last driver for today, Ollie Slade.
Yes, Ollie Slade is with us with his best result, I believe, ever in the series. Congratulations, Ollie. A 9th place today. I mean, wasn't perhaps the best qualifying ever, but your race pace seemed to be extremely impressive. You're one of the quickest guys out there.
Oh, thanks very much, guys. Yeah. So in my quali pace, I felt like I was a bit off it. So me and Louis Hanker have been practicing kind of ever since the tire model came out, and we've been doing kind of like 59s, low twos. But then when it came to quali, I don't know, when I got into a dirty air behind another car, the setup didn't feel how I'm used to it feeling, you know. So yeah, but in the race, I managed to get into a rhythm pretty quickly. There was a bit of carnage around me at the start, which I managed to avoid, which was pretty cool. And then yeah, there's a couple more freebies, and just managing to find a bit of space to get into a rhythm, really.
Yeah, and then it came down to that last lap. I think you may have had a little bit of a collision with Bod Bolins, I think, going into turn 1. Just take us through that from your perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it was Neil Cooper, was it?
Oh yeah, sorry, Neil Cooper, yeah.
Yeah. So from my perspective, we were battling pretty hard for the last few laps, and you know, it was all fair and no problem really. Neil fought really well. It was a really good fight. From my perspective, going into that turn 1 though, I kind of lined myself up on the inside. Neil, from my perspective, when he put the brakes on, the car did a little bit of a squirm to the right, so I kind of thought the gap was opening up. I held my line on the inside there, and then yeah, well, when it initially happened, I actually thought he'd spun because I didn't get any kind of contact on my screen or the contact warning on my screen or anything. So when it initially happened, I thought he'd managed to just lose the end on entry, the back end on entry. But viewing the replay, it seems like there was a bit of netcode contact. So I apologise to him for that. That was never the intention. I was just trying to hold the inside line there.
Still a fantastic drive day from you today, Ollie. I mean, so far this season's gone very well for you. How would you say you've enjoyed this Simracersworld GT Championship? How have you found it?
Yeah, it's been great. Like after the first race, I was a bit unsure because I got involved in the first kind of incident that was kind of just crazy. Really, it was a 4 wide into the turn 1 of Daytona, and you know I was thinking like, okay, what's this about? But yeah, I spoke to some people and they kind of said, you know, it's normal for the first race of the season. I really enjoyed Bathurst, but kind of unfortunately, I kind of hit Louis, my teammate, so that wasn't fun. So we had a chat about that, and then I gifted him the place back at the end of the race today. So we're square now. So he managed to get the P8, so everything's fine. So yeah, really enjoying the series. It's been really good, and everyone seems great, and it's a lot of close racing as well, which is always what you can want. And I don't know if you guys think this or see the same thing, but it seems really exciting from where I'm sat anyway.
Absolutely, yeah. Today's race was really entertaining to cover. Congratulations today, Ollie. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we say goodbye?
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great. So obviously we've got our team fiercely forward. We're kind of starting up, and we're in most of the SRW series now. So yeah, I'd just like to say thanks to our kind of main sponsor, which is Opencast Software, and then Abruzzi have also been really great helping us out with our social media and stuff. So definitely check them out for their kind of customizations and things like that. And also we've started a new partnership recently with RaceLab Apps Overlays, so that'd be great too. And our minor sponsors are findingspeed.com and Motorsport 101. So that's kind of the people who are helping us get through this series.
Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Ollie, and best of luck next week at Watkins Glen.
Thank you so much. Speak to you soon.
So that was Ollie Slade, of course, for Fiercely Forward Racing, finishing in 9th position today. Marco, like I said, left a little bit of a teaser there. Watkins Glen, Classic Boots, the next round of the championship. Another really good round to the championship as well. We've had some absolute stormers so far this season. one of the driver's favourites, of course, one of the most owned circuits as well on iRacing. So I think everyone's going to feel very at home there.
Yes, and I like that they don't have the chicane because it will make for better racing in the end. The slipstream is not massively important with this car, so we won't have, I think, 4 or 5 wide as we see in some series. Radical. Well, I have to say you played it masterfully in the
Oh, I so nearly won that
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Honestly.
I know.
Honestly.
But
Unbelievable.
it makes for certainly less trouble and makes for a very interesting situation where probably the car is in front will try to get the inside line of the carousel. The car that's attacking will take the outside, but of course then it will reverse as they enter the boot. So it is going to be a fantastic race in my opinion. Cannot wait next week for this one.
Yeah, absolutely. It should be absolute fantastic race once again. We've had a few so far this season. Sebring living up to the billing once again. If you have enjoyed this video, please do leave a like on it and also subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network because there's loads of other events going on throughout the week from supercars actions, single seaters, GT racing, rallycross, ovals, and dirts, absolutely loads of stuff. So just subscribe and click on the notifications as well. And you can see whenever something pops up. Also, if you don't mind, please do check out Apex Racing TV as well, our local channel, where there's many more broadcasts like this, just like the Simracersworld Endurance Championship, the endurance version of this pretty much, which will be on in a few Sundays' time. So certainly do subscribe to that. And yeah, plenty of other action on there as well. But for now, from me and from Marco, we're going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time.